The top stories. The isolation centre stays at Enmore, but for the short term. Tourism expects growth of 6% next year. And Barbados Run. It's on. Welcome to Nation News for Tuesday, November the 4th, 2014.
No matter where you are in the world, at home or abroad, Nation News keeps you connected with what's happening in Barbados through our website, video newscast, and online e-papers. So stay connected with Nation News. Your time, your way.
The isolation centre will remain at Enmore on Lower Colima Rock, the government says, but it will now be concerned with Ebola only and for a temporary period. The centre was originally intended for Ebola and other unspecified serious infectious diseases. The change was announced by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Tennyson Springer. The government has been under pressure to remove the centre from Enmore, with parents and teachers at the nearby Ursuline Convent schools prominent among the objectors. Mr. Springer also confirmed that the government had met the self-imposed deadline of November the 1st to have the centre fully prepared. He made the comments on the sidelines of a workshop on Ebola for Caribbean countries at the Crane Hotel. A remark by a senior officer that was deemed to be uncomplimentary has led to a brief work stoppage at the Sanitation Service Authority. Employees told Nation News the disparaging utterance to a worker was made at a meeting at the SSA's Wildy Depot called to discuss issues the refuse collection challenges the agency is having. An apology was given and accepted, but a number of workers expressed disappointment about the way things had gone. The way has finally been made clear for Bees Recycling to build a modern new plant. The owner, Paul Bino, says he has town planning approval to start construction early in the new year. Mr. Bino had accused the department of delaying his application, a charge that it denied. A move from its present location at Cane Garden, St. Thomas, to the relative isolation of Vaucluse in the same parish became a talking point after a huge fire in March last year. Residents in Bagatelle, where he was supposed to take his operation, had protested the location of bees in their neighborhood. Mr. Bino hopes to start building the $20 million plant in the new year.
Don't see it as garbage. We see it as a raw material that can be further recycled. So we are going to shred it, bale it, and containerize it and ship it off for further recycling.
He was speaking as he took the media on a tour of the site. Barbados is projecting a 6% growth in tourist arrivals in 2015, which would be a welcome stimulus after a tough few years. Officials have been speaking about the country's prospects in London at the annual World Tourism Market. According to the new National Head of Tourism Marketing, Billy Griffith, that 6% spurt is predicated on new services, including from New York and Atlanta beginning next month, and Air Canada switching to larger aircraft. He's been quoted as saying that the forecast for this calendar year is likely to be about 1% growth overall. When it comes to our biggest source market, the UK, that is expected to be 7% up by year end compared to 2013. British Airways increasing its flights from 10 to 12 a week next month is expected to help generate double-digit growth from Britain in 2015. CARICOM leaders, including Prime Minister Frundle Stewart, have been meeting in Port of Spain to discuss the twin threats of Ebola and chikungunya. There have been tens of thousands of suspected chikungunya cases in CARICOM, but none of Ebola. Prime Minister Stewart was joined at the summit by Health Minister John Boyce, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Defence Gabrielle Springer, and Chief Medical Officer Dr. Joy St. John. Next is Carol Martindale with the weekly commentary.
The Barbados Revenue Authority does not forget to tell all taxpayers to pay their taxes and to do so on time, failing which there are penalties and all sorts of interest payments added. So most people and businesses try to get their taxes in on time, including VAT and corporation taxes, and of course NIS as well. Some plan for tax returns in hopes that that piece of change will help with back-to-school items, home renovations, Christmas, or even just to pay a bill. But lo and behold, the government is a big McGuffey and can do anything, including not refunding individuals with much-needed cash. So many people can only now shake their heads and prepare for next year's filing.
In sport, Run Barbados is definitely on this year and on the usual dates, the first weekend in December. The confirmation has come from Billy Griffith, the new CEO of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., one of two entities formed after the Tourism Authority was dissolved. That probably accounts for what seems like a late confirmation, just a month before Run Barbados. And finally, a Canadian man is seeking a woman with the same name as his ex to use her plane ticket on a round-the-world trip. 28-year-old Jordan Akzani of Toronto posted on the social media website Reddit that he bought tickets for the 3-week trip to destinations including Milan, Paris, Bangkok, and New Delhi shortly before he and his girlfriend Elizabeth Gallagher broke up. So he's looking for someone with the same name who could use the ticket. And no Bajans, I'm sorry to report. Elizabeth, you must be Canadian. Mr. Akzani wrote he isn't seeking any monetary or romantic compensation for the ticket, though I'm sure that would help. His post has already received at least one response from an Elizabeth Gallagher. That's Nation News for Tuesday. For more, visit nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And get your Midweek Nation at newsstands on Wednesday or subscribe to our e-paper.